I am hoping that third time is a charm. Hey guys, it is Natalie Diaz here at Twiniversity, and today we are talking about marriage and multiples. I think this is working. This is my third attempt at getting this to go on today. So yeah, I think this is it. So I'm so excited because this is one of my all-time favorite topics to chat about. And we're gonna cover a lot today. We're gonna cover a lot of different things, a lot of things that you might have going on in your neck of the woods that you would like some advice and opinions. I know it's a sensitive subject to talk about marriage, but I don't know if you've noticed at Twiniversity, we're big fans of the TMI. So, the only way that we are going to make improvements on our lives is if we get some ideas and open our world to some new suggestions. So we got some suggestions. I love talking about marriage. I've been married a long time, and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not have the world's most perfect marriage, but I have never met anybody who did. So, just because it's kind of not like I practice what I preach or whatever, but a lot of things that we talk about today, I do try my best to practice. We're really going to be talking a lot about a lot of different things. We're very excited to be partnered with our friends at Baby Bjorn today, who have a wonderful, wonderful, really, really, really exciting promotion called Dad Stories over on Instagram. So Julie's going to be linking you more information about the dad stories, but we got a lot to talk about today, and I don't even know where to begin. So hi guys, I love that everybody's starting. Yes, I am here. I know Julie was all worried, but for some reason it kept saying that I had a weak signal, but whatever. I took it off. I'm just using Wi-Fi. I also got a new haircut, and I feel like my hair looks really weird. It's a different color. Could you tell it's a different color? Who knows? But I got my sugar skulls on, so I'm all excited. But it looks like super flat on this side, right? It's like womp womp. I don't know, but this is enough talk about my hair. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So we're gonna be giving away prizes, and we're going to be giving tips and tricks and all this good stuff of the day. But I wanna know right now, hey, Baby Bjorn is here, and Kimmy's here, and I know Julie's there. I wonder if Lauren and Laura is here. I'm not gonna talk about them per se today, but maybe I'm gonna give you some tips that they have given us too. Thank you. I'm glad that you think I look beautiful, because I really feel like this is super flat, and I wanted to put it back, but then I don't know, it just seemed weird. So yeah, whatever. Here's what I want to know. All right, I'm glad that you're on before the doctor's appointment. I love that. So here's what I want to know. I want to know how many of you guys are married. So if you are married, give a big shout out to your spouse. And I understand that, we could use the hearts and you could use the happy faces and stuff too. So I see some thumbs up coming in. Okay, good. Let's say, I'm crossing my fingers for you since you've never won anything. And I love that you guys are saying hi to everybody else. Look, Carrie's here. She's married 14 years. I think that I am married 16 years is what I think. So yeah, I've been married quite a minute. I got married when I was very young. I was 7. No, I wasn't 7, of course. Hold on, please. I'm drinking since we're having a casual conversation, this is how I drink coffee, out of a giant, giant Weston family mason jar. Because that's what it takes that's what it takes me to get through the day. So here's what we're going to do. I'm Nat, by the way, if you haven't figured that out by now, because I said live with Nat and there's nobody else here. So I would hope that you would put that all together. We are going to be Julie's going to tell me when we're giving away prizes. We're doing bouncers, we're doing carriers, and you guys know that I am a huge advocate for Baby Bjorn. I absolutely love them. I've loved them since my babies were babies. My babies are now 12. So I do have some experience when talking about being married with twinnies. Oh my gosh, we're getting so many questions. It's crazy. So what we're gonna do, let me just get down to the questions. I have so much going on. I'm so excited, and I think that being thrown off by 3 minutes really got me frazzled. But oh, that's great. Look at you guys shouting out to you. I'm with my high school sweetheart too. 10 years, Connie, that's fantastic. On July 7th, or July 777 or 17th, I don't know what it is. We've been married for a while, I'm noticing. Yes, and just like we've been married for a while, Baby Bjorn's been around the block a few times. Did you know, random Baby Bjorn fact of the day? What do you think was Baby Bjorn's first product? All right, do I have my brochure? I think I left my brochure over there. What do you think was the first thing that they created? You're gonna answer that, right? And I'm gonna start looking at the questions. Oh, I love those. Isn't this crazy that this is what we're talking about? I'm so happy that you guys are so honest. Bridge, who's on with us from Baby Bjorn? Is it Brooke? Is it Bridge? Is it Jim? Is it Annika? Who's here? It's my girls, my boy, whoever's there. So the first, Monica, no, it's not the carrier. Their first product was the bouncer. So Bridge, if you could, if you're there, whoever's there from the team, but specifically if you know the name of that first bouncer, but my mind was totally blown when I found out that was the first product they had. I got to see a brochure, or at least some pictures from a brochure from like way back when for Baby Bjorn, and I could not believe that they started off with a bouncer. But that makes total sense because their bouncer is so extraordinary that I could see how that was the first product. But it's such a great story. And did you know that Bjorn is a person? So I always thought like Bjorn meant something or whatever, which I believe that it means bear or something, right? So the Baby Bjorn team could to chime in. But I really, oh, the bouncer, Gabby, you don't even understand how fantastic their bouncers are. I play with their bouncers all the time in Twiniversity classes. I'm lucky that we had them, we gave them to some wonderful family. But their bouncers are so extraordinary, and you could tell that it was built with love. I always ask the kids when I make something delicious for dinner, I say, there's a secret ingredient, and the secret ingredient is, of course, love. But I believe that in all Baby Bjorn products that yeah, they put the secret ingredient in all of their products. But it's fantastic. It was great to see some behind the scenes stuff, and I'm hoping that as time evolves, I'll get more behind the scenes info so I could share that with you. So yeah, so thank you to them. You guys want to jump in? Are we ready for our first question? Now, please, I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to be like fairly raw. I'm not going to be raunchy by any means, but if there's something that I'm going to say, you know, if you are offended easily, this may not be the best chat for you. If you don't mind being offended, I love some thumbs up because then I know that you guys are with me. That makes me happy. Okay, so the first question is, and I'm looking over here simply because this is where my computer is. It says, how do you get on the same page with your partner with parenting styles? I'm very schedule oriented and he's not. He works a lot, but when he's home, he doesn't respect the schedule that our twins follow, creating chaos. I know I'm a bit controlling with this, but when I'm the one left to deal with the aftermath. Who else is experiencing that right now? So I wish you would. I know that you're not going to tell me your names. And I do know that we're posting anonymously. And if you have an anonymous question, you could just literally shoot us a message right now and then Julie shoots it over to me. I don't know who asked this question, but first, there's a few issues to this, right? So first, you're talking about different parenting styles. Different parenting styles are ridiculously common because very few of us married somebody that's exactly like us. Not saying that you didn't. A lot of us, you know, you kind of, not great minds think alike, or you are the company you keep. No, that's not the saying that I was looking for. But, you know, not everybody marries somebody that's just like them. I know that I am totally unlike my spouse. I know that Julie and her spouse they don't have everything in common, but as far as like styles like that, that's just the way that it goes. So that's very, very common to have different parenting styles. Number two, so that was the first thing that I want to say is like, you're not alone, join the club, we're all like this. The other thing I want to say is I want to speak to that whole controlling issue. I too, and pretty much everybody I know that is a parent of twins is slightly controlling. And I don't think that it's controlling. I just think that we have to be a lot more organized than your average bear because we basically run a nursery school every single day. When you have multiple kids and you're a single parent taking care of them, of course, you have to be scheduled. And it is tough when your partner doesn't respect the schedule. So here's the thing. I'm not really trying to offend anybody today, but I'm going to say something right now that I have learned the hard way. What I want to say is that just because you and your partner parent differently, that doesn't make his theory right and that doesn't make your theory wrong. It's one of those things that you have to find middle ground and just accept that he is always going to be off schedule. It's just going to happen. I'm not saying that he shouldn't respect things like feeding times, right? Or when they're changed or when they get washed. Those are deal breakers. You have to discuss with your partner what the deal breaking issues are. Is it when they don't go to sleep on time? This really gets me crazy. Or is it that we have tummy time at 10:15 and you cannot deviate from the schedule? You know, some things are flexible. And your kids are not only going to learn from having a variety of different parenting styles around them, it's going to be really, really good for them. Because if they only were exposed to somebody that was like militantly scheduled, like this girl, and they never had the flexibility of eating Cheerios off of a floor, literally, that's what I walked home to one day. They were in a dish though, but apparently my twins wanted to eat, and my husband thought that it was a good idea that I believe that there was actually milk in it too, believe it or not. So he put Cheerios and milk in a bowl and put it on the floor, and the kids were lapping it up like animals. I was fuming on a few levels. Okay, first of all, they weren't supposed to be eating. Second of all, they were eating off the floor like animals. Third of all, they were getting milk all over the floor, and who do you think was going to clean that, right? Exactly. If you feel me on this one, show me some happy faces, some hearts, some something, because this is just a typical thing. Of course, now we have a real dog who wants to chime into this discussion. We have a real dog to clean up the floor, which I almost wish that we had her when my puppies were puppies. But your kids are going to learn from different parenting styles. And I think the first thing that you have to do, and it's basically, it's one of my big tips, is that honesty is the best policy. Yelling is not going to be effective in this situation ever. You have to have a real discussion. A real discussion. Here's the things that really bother me. And they can't be like everything. They can't be a list of like 47 things. Like pick like your top 5 things that get under your skin and make you want to lose your marbles. So that's the number one thing that I would say, is find out what your deal breakers are, and then, you know, say, hey, listen, when you're watching the kids, which I'm hoping that this means that he is watching the kids by himself, because that's a huge hurdle that a lot of us haven't even gotten to. We have parents in our group to, okay, Julie's sending me messages. I got it, Jewel. We have parents in our group that, their partners never watch the kiddies. So be thankful, number one, that he is watching the kids. And even though he is going off schedule, just know that, you know, they are going to learn differently from his parenting style. But tell him the things that have to be done, and then that's it. Don't say, here's the schedule for the day. All right, so that's going to be my big tips. Parenting is always a struggle. I love that you guys are mentioning that. I just love the tips that you guys are including too in our live chat. So thank you very much for everybody contributing. Okay, guess what? It is prize time, prize time, prize time, prize time. If you have twinnies that are newborn, I want to do this for the class tomorrow. Or Jewel, could we give away a regular class? Julie tells me we're giving away a Twiniversity class. Not a literal entire class, but a seat in the class. So every month here at Twiniversity, I teach online classes for expectant and new families. If you're in New York, you're more than welcome to come take the New York class. If you are online, of course, not online, but if you're anywhere other than New York, you have to join us kind of for our online class, or even if you're on bed rest. So we are going to give away a seat in our online class where we do talk extensively about marriage. Because if you think about it, everybody prepares their registry, right? You prepare your home, you prepare your car, you prepare your body. How many of you really, and please let me know right now, how many of you really prepared your relationship for the birth of your babies? Like, did you guys sit down and say, okay, listen, I want to be, Julie says we could do Chicago too. I didn't want to speak for you, Jewel. If you're in the Chicago area, so we're giving away a class, no matter if you want to do an online class or in-person class, just shout it out and let us know that you would like to join us, and Julie's going to pick a winner. But I also do want to know if you did prepare your relationship. Did you guys know that parents of twins have a higher rate of divorce than the national average? Which, isn't that crazy? Like, I think about that sometimes and I'm like, wow, the rate of divorce is already so high, but it's so much more financially stressful, physically stressful, and emotionally stressful. Doesn't it look that my arm is just like wandering in the air? I'm going to put my arm down because it's freaking me out. So yeah, parents of twins have a higher rate of divorce than the national average, and I do not want that to happen to us because that would just suck. So we're giving away a seat in the class. Julie's going to pick a winner. She will announce the winner. And if you do want more information on the class, if you did not win, and I'm sorry that you did not win, but if you would like more information on the class, please do let us know, and Julie will message you after the live feed or during the live feed. I don't know how she does it. She's just amazing, and she does miraculous things behind the curtain at Oz. That's how my Julie goes. Okay, are we ready for our next question? All right, our next question is, I have 5-year-old twins. How do you deal with twins and having no help when your husband won't watch them by himself, like ever? Weren't we just talking about this, kids? What is wrong with these guys? Sometimes I want to say that, but we actually asked quite a few dads who didn't watch their kids when we were writing this little book. I don't know if you guys heard of this book, but perhaps we'll be giving one of these puppies away too. But when we were writing this book, we asked people, like, why won't you watch the kids? Like, what's the deal? And out of curiosity, Anonymous, which is what I'm going to call you, out of curiosity, did you ever ask your husband why he won't watch the kids? Did you ever say, listen, it's really weird. Like, I'm doing this all by myself, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why won't you watch the kids? And see what his answer is. If he says, well, I swear, I just made my own little dialogue in my head. And if he said something like, well, that's your job, I would have to start throwing things all around the place. But he could say something like, well, I'm afraid I don't know what to do. And often dads do feel that way. They don't know. And look, like our first question, right? We have things so regulated and so scheduled that sometimes it's intimidating to a partner to jump in and say, oh, I don't know if I could do this, and you have it done so well. And then another thing is often, oh, thank you, Monica, I love that you love my book. Another thing is that often they watch us do these things, and if they don't do them right, then we might get mad at them, just like that first question. So are they really going to be inclined to watch the kids? You will come to a point in your life, and your kids are 5, so I'm hoping that you are pretty much close to it, that you're just like, no, you have to watch the kids. That's the way that it's happening. I always say that for my families that went through IVF, myself included, that this wasn't an accident. Like, we didn't accidentally have babies. Like, it was quite a lengthy process for me to have a baby, let alone, and then I got this bonus baby. So every time I would have a huge struggle with either my husband not watching the kids or something happening and I just felt super alone, my sister would always say, just remember that you paid extra for this. I'm like, I did, I don't know what I'm doing, right? But a lot of times husbands feel very much like they don't know what to do and that they weren't built for this. And biologically, there's a lot of things that come natural to us that don't come natural to them. It's not every partner. Not every partner by any means. Some guys are like scrubbing in the OR, like ripping sheets and boiling water ready for delivery. And some are literally fainting in the delivery room and then just feel like if that's the start, that they're not capable of doing this. So it's kind of our job to say, hey, listen, you are capable of doing this. And if you don't know how to do something, let me show you how to do something. In Twiniversity classes, we always do a diaper demonstration. And everybody's like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, totally, buy one, get one free. We always do a diaper demonstration. In the beginning of class, I always say, how many of you have never changed a diaper? And very, 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 very often, many dads will raise their hand. And so when I do that diaper demonstration, I'm not doing it really for the moms, or even when I'm demonstrating a carrier, I'm not doing it as much for the moms. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm doing it for the dads. And just sometimes dads don't want to say, I don't know how to change a diaper. What do I do? They don't want to ask a nurse. They don't want to tell you. They also don't want to seem like they're not capable of doing something, so they don't want to admit it. There's a lot of reasons why our partners do the things that they do. I really wish that everybody was brutally honest. Brutally honest. And honesty is the best policy, hands down, no doubt about that. But there are so many things that we could do to try to get people to talk to us, right? So it's not only honest that you want to know his answer, but it's honesty as far as how you're feeling too. And that leads me to the next point of talking about dad stories. So Baby Bjorn is doing this great project right now over on their Instagram page. And they have, I mean, really, it's a really, really wonderful promotion it's such a supportive environment for dads. And I'm sure that if your babies are here, that your partner and your husband or your boyfriend or your baby daddy, whoever he is, if they haven't strapped on a little bit of a Baby Bjorn and taken a kid out, they're not to their dad potential yet. Maybe they don't want to do it. But there's these really great stories on Instagram about all dads. So you just do #dadstory. The stories are from the dads. The stories are from the moms talking about the dads. The stories are from same-sex partners talking about their spouse. And the dad stories doesn't have to be like, you know, the first time I saw my baby, I knew that he was mine forever. It could be something as simple as, I love when my twins eat Cheerios off the floor. They laugh, it makes me laugh, and everybody is happy. So why shouldn't they eat Cheerios off the floor? Stories like that, or Baby Bjorn is looking to really show how supportive they are to not only the moms, because of course we know that they are, they make the best products in the universe, but also to the dads. So hop on over to Baby Bjorn's Instagram feed, or even just go on to Instagram, put in #dadstories, and read all the fantastic stories that are on there. All right, so that's the one thing that I wanted to tell you. Now, speaking of dad stories, help them create a dad story. Maybe they don't have a great story to tell so far, or maybe they don't feel that they're bonding with their babies, whatever. But help him create some dad stories, because it's not only about us. We're really lucky, and we do have a few dads who join us over on Twiniversity, but we're a very mom-heavy group. I just want him to have that experience, and in hindsight, I could think of a million ways that I should have involved my husband more when the kids were growing up. And it's not just like, take the kids so I could get out of here, which true, I should have done that a heck of a lot more. But it was maybe being a little less critical for when he did something like feed the kids on the floor. And maybe my initial reaction shouldn't be to lose my poop. I almost said the other word, but I tried to keep our live feed. I just got a call and tell Julie that I put it on Do Not Disturb, and I still got a call. So I don't know what to tell you. All right, so what are some things that you do, whatever. What are some things that you could do with your partner that, I'm so sorry, somebody keeps calling 26,000 times. I don't know. Video made swipe left reveal. I don't know what's happening. I apologize, guys. You know, if you call somebody, by the way, and they don't answer 4 times in a row, maybe you should rethink the video is interrupting. I know, I'm sorry. I have it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why that's happening, but I'm sorry. Getting distracted. Hopefully that won't happen again. It is the same person that's calling me. I will call them, but just saying, you know, if you make a call a lot of times and somebody's not taking it, maybe they're on a live feed. Maybe it's not that they don't want to talk to you, because I would love to speak to that person, but I can't right now. So, yeah, Teresa, I'm so sorry that your marriage failed after your twins. Unfortunately, that's not uncommon. That's why we're having this discussion today, and I almost want to make this like a monthly discussion, and I want to have kind of like a support group and be like, hey, my name is Natalie Diaz. I'm married for 16 or 17 years. I can't really remember at this point, and this is... You know, this is my problem of the week. I have problems with my husband on a weekly basis. I will tell you that. We don't argue as much. We have alternating schedules. So his schedule, he works at a restaurant, so he works more in the evenings. I work more in the daytime, but then when he comes home, I have to be very honest with you, I'm very tired. And our big tip that we have started to do is that I've been very honest. Like, I can't stay up late anymore. I can't stay up late and wait for him to come home from the restaurant, which I've been trying to be a good wife, right? That's what I think a good wife would do. All those years, I would stay up. He would get home at 11:30. I would stay up and go to sleep like at 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 6 o'clock to take this kids to school. I've been doing this forever. Then I realize now at the tender age of 40, what the hell am I doing? I am freaking exhausted. And when I am tired, I am cranky. And when I am cranky, who is winning? I feel like crap. I treat everybody like crap. And then poor Julie gets a short end of the stick. She'll even tell you I just vent to her. And yeah, so I've decided that as of now, I'm going to sleep at 10 o'clock. And whether I'm actually going to sleep is a different story. I'm going to be in bed at 10 o'clock, and then maybe I might watch a half-hour show. I'm now watching Love on Netflix. Anybody else watching that? So let's get to our next question, okay? My husband is great at helping, but doesn't understand my mommy guilt. It is 1,000,000 times more than with my singleton. How do I get him to understand? All right, are you ready? Are you ready, Tyler, for some tough talk? Nobody can help you with mommy guilt. You have to get over the mommy guilt. We all freaking feel mommy guilt. But remember, I was just talking about, like, I had wife guilt where I didn't want to stay up and wait for John to come home, you know, or when I was staying home, I realized that I was paying such a strong price for that. With mommy guilt, it's the same kind of thing. We can't feel guilty. Here, okay, show of hands, show of hearts, show of whatever. Who feels mommy guilt? I don't have possibly enough hands. I really wish that there was, like, I had bonus appendages right now. I want to hold my feet up, but I am not as limber. I'm not, period, limber. It's not as limber. Look, see, Tyler, we are not alone. Mommy guilt is some serious, serious crap that we all deal with, and especially we feel it when we have twins, because there's that extra kid. There's that whole extra kid that, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do enough letters with them today, or we didn't do enough sorting with that one, or I spent too much time with this one because they were crying, or I spent too much time with this one because, look, Becky's my girl, right? So I said show of hands. How many hands is that? You are not alone. It is a sucky, sucky thing. But mommy guilt is something that we have to overcome. It's not something that somebody could help us overcome. I'm going to tell you right now, and sometimes people just need permission. You shouldn't feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. You gave two humans lives, right? At the same time, same day. You have a bonus child that you mentioned, and now mommy guilt is coming into play. You just got to turn your head the other way, and you just got to say no. And one way that I always think about dealing with mommy guilt, and it's something that I am always reminded of when I go on an airplane. You know, when you're on an airplane, I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane, but if you haven't, this is what happens. There's a little safety booklet, and in the booklet you open it, and then the pilot comes on and goes, so we're going to review the safety procedures. And then they talk about all the BS safety procedures that we have to abide by. And then they say, in case of a change in oxygen, oxygen masks will drop down. Please put on your oxygen mask before assisting others. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they say, but the moral of that story is, if you don't put on your own oxygen mask, you can't freaking help anybody else. So figure out what's making you feel guilty. Are you feeling guilty because you're not spending time with a kid or kids, or you're not spending enough time with your guinea pigs? I don't know. Is it that you're not spending enough time with your spouse? Is it that you're not spending enough time with yourself? Maybe you just haven't had an opportunity to, like, you know, read a book or go take a shower with the door closed. These are all things that make us feel guilty, right? Even if we go out with our girlfriends or go out with our guy friends or whomever we go out with, if we leave the house without a kid, we have some weird guilt. So sometimes we add in bonus things, right? So we're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go out with Maggie and Patty, but I'm going to also go to the post office and do 97,000 errands. Does our partner usually say that to us? They have less issues with guilt than we do. And I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's just because inherently we feel like we should be doing more for our kids, and that's why we feel guilty. But yeah, nope, you shouldn't feel guilty. My mom still makes me feel guilty. Still, Mom, if you're watching this, I really hope you are. If I speak to my mother, and it's been like a few days since I spoke to my mom, because my mom and dad have now gone down south for the winter because it's ridiculous up here in New York City. If I speak to them, or let's say I don't answer the phone, my mom will say that when I do get back to her, my mom will say, you know, why didn't you answer the phone before? I fell on the floor. I needed your help. I'm like, Mom, you're full of crap. Nobody was hurt. You're not going to call me in New York City if you were on the floor. She's been doing this to me since I'm like 10 years old. This is just what my mom does. It's a little game that we play. She's so great with the guilt. I can't even tell you. So by nature, of course, I feel the same way. But yeah, we shouldn't feel guilty. I would actually encourage you guys to be a tad bit selfish. I don't think that parents are selfish enough. I know that sounds nuts, right? If you think that you're selfish, please tell us why you think you're selfish. People sometimes will say, oh, you know, I feel so bad. I went to sleep. I wasn't even tired. I just wanted to watch TV in bed. What? You should feel great about that. You should feel great that you even had the opportunity to do that. So be selfish and always remember to put on your oxygen mask first. And I don't want you guys to feel that parenting guilt. It's cuckoo. Okay, it's time to give away one of these puppies. If you don't have one yet and you want one, this is your chance to win a book. It's a great book. They're actually, I use the word actually in so many times I can't even tell you. In our great book of Twiniversity, there is a chapter in it, 12. I don't know if you could see that. But chapter 12 is called Keeping the Foundation Strong, or Batman and Chocolate Milk. Do you guys, have any of you read this book? So if you want to win the book, just say, I want to win a book. I need a book. That book is for me. Something, Batman, Chocolate Milk, whatever you want to shout it out. And Julie's going to pick a winner, and she is going to make sure that you get a book. But this was my favorite chapter to write, and it was actually the second chapter that I wrote. The first chapter that I wrote was about gear, because I'm totally obsessed with gear. Hence why we partner with people like Baby Bjorn, because I am just fascinated by baby gear and all the unnecessary crap that I purchased myself. I do not want you guys making that same mistake. But I wrote this because this, I feel, is important. Not only, and if you have this book, if you haven't gotten to that chapter, reread that chapter today. So it's called Batman and Chocolate Milk because as the kids got older, I'm going to say when they were about 3 years old, we really just had enough. We barely saw each other. We weren't spending time together. It was really bad. Really bad. And I'm not saying that we talked about divorce, but I'm saying that I think it might have been an elephant in the room that neither of us wanted to talk about. So we discovered that the kids love chocolate milk. And we discovered that the kids love Batman. And a Batman episode was, I think it was about 17 minutes with no commercials. So good, thank you for reading it today. So I don't want to be spoiler alert what the Batman and Chocolate Milk is, but we would give the kids a sippy cup of chocolate milk with a very slow flow, and we would put on an episode of Batman, and we would run into our bedroom and do dirty things to each other. Just saying, guys, told you it was TMI. That was the only time that we could get to be together. And of course, this is what I'm talking about at the highest part of our feed when we have over 100 people joining us. I'm telling everybody my intimate details. But, you know, for parents, it's different, right? We, as mamas, we want to feel acknowledged. We want to feel appreciated. We want you to verbally tell us, we're doing a good job. I noticed that. Like, this is what we want. You know, flowers are nice. Jewelry is nice. Everything is great. But we really want that acknowledgement. This is what parents want, what mamas want. And interestingly enough, what papas want, and when we polled Twiniversity dads, they really just wanted sweet loving. That's the way. And it's not like sweet loving like bam, chicka, bam, bam, let's swing from the chandelier, put on these fishnets, let's get busy, lady. It's really, I need to connect with you, and this is how I feel like we connect. Where we're saying like, oh, I gained so much weight from the pregnancy, I don't feel right, my boobs are leaking, blah, blah, blah. They did not freaking care. They really did. They just wanted to feel that connection. And for dads, they need that physical connection. We need that emotional connection. They needed that physical connection. So I got to tell you the truth, I need that freaking physical connection. I'm not going to be fools and tell you that I don't need that. And I'm not saying that I need to swing from the chandeliers too, but I need a freaking hug. I need a smooch. I need that physical validation that we're in this together. And that is something that's important to me. And we have very honest discussions about this. And I know that our Twiniversity mom squad, right? I've been on the road with them. We've all had these discussions, and I know that I'm not alone in feeling the things that I feel. So yeah, giving the kids the tablets, that's the way to do it, man, but you have to do it. And it's funny because let's just talk about sweet loving for a moment, baby Bjorn. I hope this is okay with you. But the thing about sweet loving, because that's just what we'll call it, is that the longer you wait, the worse the problem gets. It doesn't even have to be like great quality sweet loving. It's just got to exist. You need to have that connection. And then the more time that goes on, then it's just going to be super bad. It's going to be bad because then if they become emotionally distant from you, then you become even more emotionally distant from them. And then they start getting snappy and then you start getting snappy. And it's this freaking wheel that is absolutely ridiculous. So if it has been, I don't know, everybody has a different schedule of sweet loving. I know that we got a minimum weekly is our sweet loving schedule. I would like multiple times, I'm just saying, throwing it out there. But everybody's like, well, what's normal? There is no normal. It's whatever's normal for you. If that means that you're having sweet loving every single day, if that's normal for you, A to the freaking men. Yes. If your libido is broken, oh my God. Yes, I know, everybody's is broken. Do you know that it really is broken because there's this piece of like Mother Nature that's like, we're going to break your libido because we don't want you getting pregnant again because these babies need you. So there's almost a biological response to why we feel like crap. It's just sad. And I'm sad, but I'm going to tell you something. If you are willing, right? If you're willing to just throw yourself out there, do it. Go swing from the chandeliers tonight, and your libido may not actually be broken. It may be this whole mommy brain versus woman brain, and this mommy brain is slowly creeping over and taking over the rest of you. It happens to most of us. I don't want to say that it happens to everybody. It certainly doesn't happen to everybody. I don't know anybody that it hasn't happened to. Also, let's just say that. I don't want to generalize and say that it's the universe. But for twin parents, especially when usually we don't have the best pregnancies. A lot of us are like, oh, my pregnancy was great. That's great. But even then, maybe breastfeeding is a challenge. Maybe post-delivery is a challenge. Maybe sleeping schedule is a challenge. Maybe if you had a C-section, you can't even lay on your stomach and you're so uncomfortable that everything is an issue. So yeah, I hope, I would love to, I don't want any more babies. I got to tell you the truth. I just want the sweet loving, no babies. Thank you. There was a long time that I wanted more kids, but that just wasn't in the cards. You know, I tell you guys everything, right? Do you guys realize that? Do you realize that I use our live feeds as much for you as I do for me? Bridget knows too. So if Baby Bjorn's on, you guys know that this is my style, right? We have, Twiniversity was built on the foundation of having open and phantom discussions about everything. Whether it's about bottle feeding, breastfeeding, we talk about everything. And marriage is one of those things that I mean, if Julie could squeeze this in and we could do this, I always want to talk about marriage more because look how many questions we're getting. I mean, we're getting as many questions today as we do about breastfeeding. So it's really, really great. Okay, so Julie's giving away our book. I have another question. We got another question that's coming in. Okay, it says, I feel like my husband and I are less intimate since we had our first son. I'm so scared that with the twins, look, intimacy will be zero. Tips on keeping us going. All right, you ready for tips on keeping us going? This is so clinical and aggravating. You're going to hate it. But set a schedule. Set a schedule of Batman and chocolate milk or your version of it, but on, Tuesday nights or Sunday nights, you know that you got to give each other an hour, 2 hours, whatever you could squeeze from this hour to this hour. It sounds super shitty. Oh my God, I said I wasn't going to curse. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Baby Bjorn. Thank God we don't have like 120 people on again. So I know it sounds super poopy, but you have to find time for each other and set it up every single week, and then you take the guessing out of it. So I don't have to say, is today a good day? Because he's saying the same thing. He's saying, is it a good day for her? Is it not a good day for her? I don't want to, initiate some sweet loving when she's clearly not into it. So there was a great thing. My friend Monica was telling me a story about an article that she read. And it went something like this. On top of the refrigerator, there was a jar in this house. And this jar was where change would go into the jar. Okay? And this was like, I don't know, maybe they called it like vacation savings or something to this effect. But the way that the parents would communicate with each other about sweet lovin' is they would say, honey, I have some extra change from the day. Should I put it in the jar or do you need it? And then if the spouse said, put it in the jar, then that means that it's going down tonight, guys. But if they said, no, you could keep it or, throw it in my purse or whatever, then that was the sign that it wasn't going down that night. But I loved how that family found a way to basically have a discussion and a dialogue about whether they were going to have time for each other that night or not. Yay! I love that Sweden's in the house. So yes. Okay, so we got so many questions. I know Julie's telling me something. Julie, what are you telling me? Yes. All right. So that's the one thing. Okay, so have an open discussion about when sweet lovin' is going to be possible. The other thing that I want to remind you guys, and this sounds totally nuts, but here's my message of the day as I take a sip of my giant coffee. Dating is cheaper than divorce. You have to find time to get out of the house with each other. Maybe once a month. You don't even need to get out weekly or be like, oh my God, we're going to go play darts or we're going to join a pool league. No, you don't need any of that. But dating is cheaper than divorce. All right. So remember that. And you could write that on the refrigerator, stick it up there and call it a day. And I love that I saw that somebody said, hey, Bridget's there. Good, Bridget. I hope you're feeling better, puppy. Bridget's sick, guys. Bridget's with baby Bjorn, but more importantly, a mother of twins. That is why, not that I don't love the rest of the Bjorn team, but she gets it, man. That's why she's here. Look, even sick, she's here. All right, so let's talk about, so you said that Anna's here from Sweden? I'm so excited. Look, the whole team is here. Do you guys mind? Is this a good discussion that we're having? I hope that I'm doing justice to our discussion today because, so here's why this ties in, right? So Baby Bjorn is doing this great discussion about dad stories. So hashtag dad stories over on Instagram. Talk about the triumphs, the failures, the successes, the challenges of being a dad. It doesn't even have to be done by your partner. It could be done by you on behalf of your partner and say, here's our dad story. But I would encourage you to encourage your spouse to go read the dad stories. Because just like we have these discussions and we realize that, we're all in the same boat, we have the same problems, dads don't necessarily do this. So encouraging them to jump on over to Instagram and looking at all the stories in hashtag dad stories, that's going to make them feel more connected and it might make them feel a little bit more inspired if they're getting ideas from other dads. Okay. All right. Next one says, all right, we constantly argue over activities for our children. His mom doesn't understand the difficulty of toting around not just twins, but 4 children, ages 4 and under. My hubby grew up in a very privileged home, whereas my family is more working class. For me, it's important that my children earn things. His side of the family spoils my kids. And to top it off, they just acquired the property next door. I have to just pause. Everybody pause for a second. Let's bow our heads and say a prayer for this family. Yes. Okay. So they just acquired the property next door. In some ways, I look forward to the help, but in other ways, they are not respectful to how I want to raise my kids. I wish that you told me who you were. I know you don't want to. Oh. Okay. First, there's a lot of different levels to this. So there's the level of coming from different backgrounds. There's the level of spoiling. There's the level of freaking geography is an issue. And then there's the level of conflict with our partners. Where do we even begin with this? Can't you guys give me a simple question? Isn't there something simple that we could ask in a live? Yes. All right. Jen, you want to talk about this? I live in the same building, right? I live in the same building. My aunt lives right there. My mom and dad live right there when they're not in Florida. My sister lives right there, and my aunt and uncle live up there. So I live in a family building. So understanding the issue of family claustrophobia, I get it. And it's my own parent. I couldn't imagine if it's my mother-in-law. Although, truthfully, I think my mother-in-law is somewhat more respectful of things that I want versus my mom. All right. So let's tackle this issue. And please, if you guys have suggestions, you need to shout it out to right now. Literally, what would you do for this family? So the first issue, number one, even right before my husband left for work, I said, babe, I was like, we're going to talk about marriage today online. What's the one thing that you think everybody should know? And he said that we are the team. And what he meant by that was, because we live in a unit, right? We live in one unit of an apartment building, and then everybody lives below us and above us. We had a lot of issues with everybody putting their 2 cents in. Everybody was like, oh no, this is how you feed a baby. And I'm telling you, we were in the NICU for 30 days. There was nothing that I did not know how to do when I came home. Yet somehow, when my family was around, I was totally incapable of doing anything. And I don't know if they wanted me to feel like a moron or if they were just trying to be supportive, and in turn, I felt that they were treating me like I was stupid. I don't really know what was happening, but we had this day where it was like, enough. We had enough of this, and what we did was we basically had like a tiny intervention, and the intervention was with our entire family. And my husband said, listen, you guys had kids. You're looking at them. You raised them great, right? This was not only to us, it was to the other side of the family. It was really to everybody. He's like, our family is the 4 of us. This is our family. It's me, you, and the twins. This is our unit. This is a numero uno. Everybody else falls below it. It sounds crappy, right? Because you're like, that's my mom, that's my mother-in-law, that's my grandmother. But at the end of the day, that is what is most important. It is your family. So how do we get your husband on this page to understand this? If he's a mama's boy, right? And I hate to use that term because I'm praying that my son is a mama's boy. I'm trying to raise mama's boys, but then when it's time to cut the cord, but I don't really want to cut the cord because that's the kind of mother I am. You really have to sit down and you have to say, listen, this is how I feel. I feel that when your mother says this, this is how I feel. And I wouldn't even talk to her. And I know that a lot of people will say, no, confront this, do this, whatever. But you have to tell him, this is what I feel comfortable with. This is how this visiting is going to go. If she's going to live next door, when she wants to come over, she can come over. She's got to give me notice, because you don't want to answer the door with no bra on, you know, in a t-shirt. Like, really, you want to be able to at least be presentable as if she lived in another state and was coming over. But on the plus side, you can totally use her for babysitting because she's going to live next door, but I would send the kids over there. Don't have her come stay with the kids. Say, listen, I'll walk the kids over, set up a nursery, set up a playroom. The kids are coming over. This is what I would do. Okay, so first you got to speak to your spouse. Make sure that he knows that you are the family unit. Second, set the guidelines. What are the guidelines? What are the boundaries? What are we doing here, right? And then third, if it gets to it, then you have to sit down and have a talk to your mother-in-law. And then you have to say, what if she never speaks to me again? What is this? What's going to happen to this? And by the way, this is another thing, and let me just get close to this. This is what I've discovered. I have discovered that with families, that your babies really do put you in control. And we don't often feel like we're in control. But grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, cousins, every freaking body wants to be with those babies. So you do set the ground rules, and you do set the rules. Period, the end. You set the rules. If you don't feel like you can set the rules, that's your issue. You got to get over that. And you have to realize that you do set the rules. You are, I'm not saying like the queen of your kingdom. I hate using terms like that because then it makes everybody seem lesser than. But you know what's best for you. You know what's best for your family, and you just got to do it. So look, me and my best friend Cynthia, the ones with the babies, wins. This is how it goes. I love that you guys are getting that. It took me a long time to figure that out. A long time. I'm talking weeks of aggravation and months of frustration. It is. It's totally. Calvin, it is a total recap of the book, but not everybody read the book. And you know what? I won't hold that against them today. All right, guys. We have more prizes to give away. Clearly, you see that this is a very passionate subject for me. And it is so important for me, for you, that you try to stay together as a unit if it's worth it. I have seen many families in my personal circle, my professional circle, and even now the circle of my kids' friends that come from divorced families. Some divorces are fantastic. Some divorces you're so much better off being, and we always say that sometimes people are better off friends than they are as a unit. There's nothing wrong with that, but you got to give it your all before you start getting lawyers involved and mediators and all this other crap, okay? All right. Let's give away some prizes on the good note, all right? I have 2 carrier ones to give away. So the carrier ones, it is the Great Carrier One. It is a front carrier and a back carrier and a forward-facing carrier. I think it starts, 8 pounds to 33 pounds. You could have 66 pounds of baby on you. That's the way you could do it. I have worn one as a front and a back carrier. I know that they don't recommend it, but I know that I did attempt it and was successful. So it's a little bit complicated, I will be honest with you. But this is a great way to build a dad story. If you do not have carrier ones, you need to have these in your life. So the carrier ones that we're giving away today are in their new spring collection, which has some really beautiful new colors and this fantastic pattern with it. You're just gonna love it. Julie's gonna send you the link. Everything is below right now. I'm telling you, I don't lie to you. Have I ever lied to you? This is no way to begin a relationship. I love, 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 love the carrier ones. We use Baby Bjorn for our own 20s, but this was a very big piece of gear for my spouse, okay? My husband loved putting the carrier on, putting the baby in, and he would leave the house with a baby. I would love if we can make a golden rule called never leave the house without a baby. And this is the way that you do this. If you have one of these, put your partner in charge and say, listen, figure out how to put this on. By the way, it is extremely easy to put on, the easiest in the industry, in my opinion. And it's also very intuitive, like you'll just know how to put it on. I also love, I'm gonna take this one out of the box because I love showing you this, and the Baby Bjorn team knows that I love showing everybody this. But in their carriers, right, there's always these little pockets. Here, there's a little pocket in the carrier, and there's this strip, and it reminds me of like when a magician pulls the ribbons out of his sleeve. But the instructions are always here. So you never have to, your spouse never has to feel weird, or your in-laws never have to feel weird and be like, how do I put that on? I can't figure out how to put that on. And so there's just this ribbon with all the instructions, and it gets tucked into this tiny little pocket that's here, so never to be seen again. But the instructions are always there. You don't need a book, you don't need a YouTube video, you need nothing. The instructions live permanently inside of the little carrier. Ta-da! And it's why, one of the main reasons, not one of the main reasons. I think the main reason why I love the carrier one is the way that it fits on my hips. I also love that it fits anybody of any sizes. So whether you're a size 2 or size 26, you will be comfortable in this. I freaking love that. So yes, so you're gonna win 2 carrier ones that are gonna come directly to you from the Bjorns. Yes, put it on your wish list, put it on your registry. If you need one, just tell us, just say, I want a carrier. Okay, just say, I want a carrier, I want some carriers, I need carriers, whatever it is, put it out there, and Julie is going to pick a winner for you right now. So we're giving that away. We got that. All right, are we ready for our next question? We're gonna do one more question because we started late, sadly, because I could not figure out, see, my hair is driving me crazy. Do I need to poof it up? Anybody use dry shampoo? If you do, which one do you do? I'm trying to make my color last longer because I don't like dyeing my hair so much. So if you use dry shampoo, please tell me which one you use. Thank you, because I'm crowdsourcing now. I'm gonna use our live feed to get more information for myself. Our next question says, what if both husband and wife have strong opinions and are controlling? For the extra help, should you just let your husband get his way? Both of us are firstborn children. two type A's in the same household, it's like oil and water. Okay, remember our first question? We're from Anonymous, who was saying that how do you get your on the same page with your partner's parenting styles? If you were here in the beginning of the live feed, I said, set your ground rule for deal breakers. What are the things that are most important to you? Is it the most important thing that your kids stay on schedule? Is it the most important thing that your kids go to a music class? Which, by the way, I'm sorry that I didn't address the thing about, coming from an affluent family and spoiling the kids. We're going to have to leave that for the next time. My main thing was get control and then worry about it. All right. So we're going to set kind of our deal breakers. We here in the Diaz house, we literally do call them deal breakers. They're not only called deal breakers between my husband and I, they're called deal breakers between me and the twins. So as the kids got bigger, these are my deal breakers. You need to take a shower. It's a deal breaker. It's not up for discussion. I really don't care if you match the socks tonight. The deal breaker tonight is that you need to make sure that you take a shower because you're disgusting. These are things that I actually say to my puppies. So speak to your spouse, right? So have a very type A discussion. Write it down. Here's what's important to me. Here's what's important to you. Go to two separate areas of the house, make your list, come together and see what they both are. And then it starts a negotiation. Well, it's important to you that we visit your family for Christmas. Well, it's important to me that we visit my family for Thanksgiving, okay? It's important to you that the babies sleep in the same crib so that they have more connection with each other. It's important to me that they sit in separate sides of the car so that they don't steal each other's toys. Whatever it is, figure out what the deal breakers are to you and your controlling spouse, and just be thankful that you have a spouse that has such passionate issues. There's some spouses who take no interest in anything that have to do with parenting. So look at it as a very positive thing that you both care so much about your babies that you're willing to just get into a fighting match about it. All right? So that is that. I think, Jewel, don't we have other prizes to give away? I think we have another prize to give away. She will tell us when I am allowed to do that. Yeah, I mean, this has been such a great chat. If you enjoyed today's chat, would you just say, I loved it? I want to know if you loved it. That would make me very, very happy, because I know that everybody always wants information on like practical stuff, but truthfully, this is really, really practical information, right? So we talked a lot. So don't forget, I want you guys to be a little bit selfish. Don't forget that dating is cheaper than divorce. Don't forget, sweet loving is important for every healthy marriage, and it's not like a bad thing. It's a good thing. If you need to bring your friend Tito's into the party, and I don't mean like a literal person named Tito's, I mean a little, if you have to have a drink to just chill out at 9 o'clock in the morning, as long as we have no issues with, medications that you're taking or any other substance issues, I say go for it. Have a drink in the morning, not with the kids home, get the kids out of the house, bring them to our friend whose mother-in-law lives next door, right? Throw them over on the side and do what you have to do to get into the right mindset to be a wife again. I think it's really important, okay? All right, we do have another prize. I'm so excited. So we're giving away 2 bouncer blisses. The Baby Bjorns bouncers are my faves. As we discussed, they have different levels of incline, which is great for bottle feeding. And if you want to create a dad story, then have 2 bouncer seats in your house. The Baby Bjorns, of course, are what we're telling you to get, which I know is what to get. They're really easy to clean. They last for so long. They'll last for generations of babies. But bouncers, particularly the Baby Bjorn bouncers, are fantastic for bottle feeding, and bottle feeding is the way that your partner is going to get involved with your babies, and they're going to be able to create their own dad story. So if you would like to win 2 bouncers, just say, look, you guys already know it. I love bouncers. I want bouncers. This is what I want. Some Baby Bjorn bouncers. this is my great conversation for the day. This has been a wonderful, wonderful live feed, and the hope that I feel for society right now is extraordinary. We have had, I'm watching, we have had the highest amount of people on live with us for the longest amount of time. It's great, which means that we're all worried about it. And let me tell you, we're coming back. We're gonna have more discussions about libido, about dating, about finding time for yourself. All right, so we're gonna do that, I promise you. Julie's gonna make it happen. She's just gonna tell me when. I literally just press live, and this is all that I need to do. I had so many notes, by the way. Here, let me just show you. This is what I do when getting prepared for a live feed. I put together these Post-its that remind me of the movie A Beautiful Mind. I didn't even really use any of them today because this was such a great and casual discussion that thank you very much. I mean, I could tell you what all of these say, but when I speak around the country, very often I speak about marriage. I know that I will be coming up in Anaheim at the JPMA baby show, so you could join me there. I know I will be in South Florida in a month. So if you live in the South Florida area, then please join me at the Coral Springs Mothers of Twins meeting. Please join us there. Where else am I going to be? Oh, I'm coming to the Chicago area. So over in the events section, there's a tab at the top of Facebook that's event. Keep your eye on that because you may get to come play with me in person. Tito's is what I drink, by the way, which is why I bring it up all the time. So you will see me with Tito's and seltzer with some fresh lime, preferably, sitting in a corner. And let's really, I mean, if you enjoy this, you will really enjoy us in person. It's great. So hopefully you will be in the South Florida, Chicago, Anaheim area. I will see you soon. But please make sure that you also go over to Baby Bjorn and give them some love and just thank them for giving us this opportunity to spend some time together. So thank you to you. Look, you're in Florida. I'm going to see you there. Thank you. Be selfish. Dating's cheaper than divorce. Be appreciative. And really just take control of your family if you think you need to. All right, guys? Have this best of weeks, of days, whatever. And maybe there's a little sweet loving in your future tonight if you play your cards right. Bye, guys. See you later.